feel better.
So am I sharing this with you?
Well, I can look on my phone too.
You're good whenever you want to.
Here he comes.
He was
Okay.
washing her.
Yeah. Who's watching Calendula?
We'll call the August 14th, 2024 Planning Board Zoning Commission meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Bloomer,
Here.
Di Benedetto,
Here.
Whistler,
Here.
Boise,
Here.
Olson,
Here.
Conley,
Here.
Gray.
Here.
A note that Kevin is with us, and Greg and the mayor. Okay, approval of the minutes of
I moved,
July 24th.
I moved to approve the minutes of July 24th as written.
A second.
Okay, is there any discussion, corrections, or additions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Gray,
Yes.
Conley,
Yes.
Olson,
Yep.
Boise,
Yes.
Whistler,
Yes.
Di Benedetto,
Yes.
Bloomer.
Yes. Communications from the board, urban renewal, Jeff?
I was out of town for Monday's meeting, so I wasn't there.
Teresa, were you there?
Also out
Okay,
of
thank you. Okay. City council, Sandy?
Yeah, just a kind of a quick one. We talked about bump outs and thought that maybe a painted bump out would be better suited for our climate, considering what the snow plows already do to the corners of all the streets. Camping ordinance, the camping ordinance that we currently have deals with city-owned property, but then there's a little blurb in there about privately owned, commercially zoned property.
Yeah.
So that ordinance 960 is in the process of being amended and pulling out the commercially zoned, privately owned property, and that will get its own at a later date. And temporary use permit, we have a draft of a temporary use permit, and it kind of goes back to our zoning, temporary uses building, and that's 4.4.6, on page 4.4-8. And so I don't think we've had this form before, so we're just kind of reviewing it now as well. It's a permit for temporary use of not city-owned land.
Good.
So that's the quick gist of it.
Marie, anything from the county?
No, nothing to report.
At some point, whether it's you or the mayor, can we get an update of what's going on with the airport? Because I don't know about other planning board members, but I am constantly getting questions about what's going on, and I'm not sure I need it now, but I think we ought to have some information so that we don't just say, call the mayor.
Although we
That's
like
been-
that.
That's been my response.
It's worked.
But personally, I think this board, maybe not, but I'd sure like to hear
Well,
it.
I haven't been to an airport board meeting the last couple, 2-3 months.
Okay. So not tonight, but maybe our next meeting, if we could get a,
And there may be something more substantial by the next meeting. The short
Okay.
version is the document is going between county, the other municipality, and city.
yeah. Okay, just
That's it.
heads up.
I did notice in the draft growth policy, there is a section dealing with the airport,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
at some point, we're gonna have to have an update on just what the situation is.
Yes.
Isn't it still?
I mean, we don't need to go into
Yeah.
he said, she said, but, you know, just what's the status? Okay. No new business. So we'll move to old business. Kevin, are you on board with us?
Yeah.
Can you give us an update of where we are in the master plan, downtown?
Yeah, so it sounds like Chad heard from the Roosevelt Center, and it looks like they have an availability September 12th, September 18th, and September 19th. And so Chad's goal is to nail down a firm date and then finalize the invitation list, and send out all the emails to those selected contacts. Chad is obviously he's not here tonight. He's actually in Ekalaka for a meeting. So whatever you guys come up with, I will, or if you have any questions, I'll relay it to Chad.
What were the dates again? September what?
September 12th, 18th, and 19th.
And the plan is to do it all on one day?
I believe so. It doesn't necessarily say in Chad's email that he sent to me, but I would guess just from only having a couple different dates that it probably would be just one day.
And is he asking us to pick a date, or is he gonna pick the date?
It sounds like he wants you guys to pick a date. If you can, if you need Chad to, I could tell him that he should just pick the date, whatever you guys prefer.
What's the preference?
What were the dates again?
The 12th, which
12th,
is a Thursday,
12th, 18th, and 19th.
the 18th is a Wednesday night, and it's not one of our regular meetings for us. And the 19th is a Thursday, so we have 2 Thursdays and a Wednesday.
Wednesdays, yeah.
Do we have a preference, or do you wanna make that decision next meeting? You might be have time to think about it.
I don't know, are Thursday nights typically
Huh?
more open for people, Thursday nights?
Yeah,
I don't know.
we should just probably make the decision so we can move off the mark.
So you're suggesting the 12th, which is a Thursday?
Yeah,
Or 19th.
12th or
I'm
19th.
gonna probably be out of town on the 12th.
I think I will be too.
How about the 19th?
I think we need time
Either the
anyway.
18th or 19th would be better for me.
Me too.
Probably the
How about
19th.
19th is a what day?
Thursday.
Okay, Susan?
I'll go with the gang.
September what?
19th,
The one that, the latter one is on the Thursday, I can't
19th,
The
find the
19th,
calendar.
September 19th.
there, right?
Marie?
Yes.
Okay, we picked the 19th.
All right, that sounds great. I'll relay that information to Chad, and now that we have that
Okay.
date down, he'll start finalizing the invitation list. That's kind of it seems like the next step.
I need to know a heads up of what he expects from the planning board at that meeting.
We could definitely get something. So I'm actually going to be in Billings tomorrow, so I'm going to meet with him for a little bit, and we can flush that all out. And he'll probably draft an email to send out to the board.
I think the planning board, members will be there, but if you want any one of us or all of us to participate in some form, we need to know ahead of time.
That sounds good. I can definitely relay that information to Chad, and he can get that all clear for you guys.
Okay? And if there's something that a member wants to do, should they tell me and then I'll pass it on to you? Does that work? I mean, if there's something in particular you want to do, make a statement, whatever.
Can't think of anything.
Hmm?
I can't think of anything now, till we
Okay.
kind of
All right.
get more
So
fleshed out.
We just need to have a
Like an
heads up.
agenda.
We don't like surprises.
Okay. We could definitely do that.
Right. Anything else on the master plan?
Nope. I think that's about all we got for right now.
Jeff?
Is there gonna be an article published in the paper?
Yeah.
Any broader, and I mean, not just in the legals, but an
Yeah.
actual article that's gonna explain the process and invite the public to attend?
If there's not planned one, we need to do one. We need to have one in there, maybe 2 articles, sometime in mid-late August and sometime in early September. Put it in there twice,
Who's gonna write it?
okay? So if you want to write that and we can edit it. Let's shoot for sometime, what do you think, Greg, late August?
That can also
Do it
be,
twice, huh?
that should also be announced, through the chamber, because they have their,
Yeah, chamber chat,
yeah, where they have happenings.
Facebook, Google Docs.
And you want us to write it, WWC?
Well, I think you and Kevin ought to
Get it
get
started.
together, but personally, I'd like this
I don't
this
think
board to
chambers
see it before it goes to print.
It's government, I don't think chambers.
You agree?
do that.
They can.
Yeah,
They
I
put
want,
city
I want us
council on
to
there.
see it before it goes to print.
They put city
Okay.
council on there.
But the Google, Facebook, chamber chat, there's another, Red Lodge Facebook,
Red Lodge Buzz.
The
Huh?
buzz,
Buzz.
yeah, the buzz.
We can't over publicize it, Greg, let's
And
put it that way.
debate, probably debate the buzz.
RLBA.
Okay,
Be like, it'll be fun, and then people will
Yeah.
come. Tell them there'll be free food, then people
and
really.
there might be cookies and there
Yeah.
might not.
Oh, I wouldn't go as far as cookies, I'd just tell them free food, free food.
Yeah, okay,
Come to the dark side, we got cookies, that's what we should
okay.
And that's gonna be the evening, right?
I'm assuming it's
I'm
the
assuming
evening.
it's gonna be like from 6 to 9 or 6 to 8, something like that.
We could offer free booze, that would really get people, you know.
I'm thinking it's International Speak Like a Pirate Day. It's gonna be a blast.
Okay, I
I
mean,
got that joke.
we're going down a rabbit hole that I don't really need to go down right now, so.
Booze and cookies, put it down.
We need the time though for the article.
I'm sorry.
We need the time for the article.
Okay, Kevin, you and Greg, and then get it in front of the planning board sometime in early to,
We're a month out.
yeah. That's
4
right,
weeks.
we're in August.
Yeah.
Works for me.
Get it in front of us as soon as you can so that they can put the red pen to it if we need to, and then you can publish it towards the end of the month in the first part of September. Okay? Good. Okay? All right, Kevin, we'll turn it over to you for growth policy. I had us starting on, in local services, is that right?
I think we made it further than that last time. I think we're on, looks like
IPF.
infrastructure 4.
That's exactly
Like
what,
what?
IPF 4.
Yep.
We stopped at IPF 3.
IPF 4, okay.
So give me one, bear with me real quick. And then I'm gonna blow it up. Tell me when everybody can see it.
You need to blow it up some more.
All right, give me 1 second.
And a page number would be
Well, it
Is that a
depends
little
on
bit
which
more?
one you're doing. If you're doing the most recent.
One more if you can. Yeah, okay, can you read that, Teresa?
Yeah.
Greg, can you read that?
The
Looks
most
like
recent
I,
is
hold on.
12.
Okay, so we're gonna
Okay.
start on IPF 4.
Yep, and so,
And let me, before you
go
start,
ahead.
you've gotten edits from Jeff and myself, any other people have sent you stuff?
I don't believe so. Nothing new totally from like last time that Greg sent out the master comment list.
All right, I turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So IPF number 4, I'm glad that Sandy brought it up because our first comment is on pursuing bump outs. So IPF 4B, pursue bump outs on the main street through a joint cooperative effort with MDT. And so Sandy kind of she had some concerns. So Sandy, I don't know if you want to kind of dive into that a little bit more.
The concern is that because of our heavy snow, putting a curb bump out is gonna end up being chipped. It's gonna damage the snow plow. As it is, the MDT corners that they installed on Broadway are all chipped and broken. So to pursue it as a solid bump out is, terrible.
So the word should be evaluate or study?
Well, I think that the land use and planning, the discussion or committee was talking about painting a bump out. And I think that the mayor had been involved in that as well, is that you could actually paint a bump out so that people get 10 feet off so you can see around the cars. The concept of bump outs is for safety for crossing the street. So,
But do you want to be specific in this thing, or just say we're studying it or evaluating?
First thing I wanna do is, if he can't, after everybody said yes, they can see it, you shrunk it 2 notches.
Yeah,
Make it bigger again. I'm gonna go back to Al's comment when he was just paraphrasing it. No offense, Sandy, you're trying to solve the problem, and he's just trying to document what we need to look at.
Yeah.
So, do you remember your wording, Al? Cause it was just
Evaluate.
evaluate,
Yeah.
yeah, evaluate bump outs.
Yeah,
instead of pursue,
yeah.
Yeah, and if you wanted to put parentheses physical/painted, that's fine, and that gives some direction, but.
Susan?
I'd like to add another part. There is such a thing as a temporary bump out. And temporary bump outs are, I've seen them in Canada in a number of places, where in the summer they have a little wooden usually, but it can be some other thing, rise that's even with the sidewalk, but it can be removed seasonally. And it would give more sight distance, just like the painting would, except cars can run right into the painting, just like right now they run beyond the sign that says no parking near the corner. If you have the wooden one that's even with the sidewalk, then the car's very unlikely to run over it, and if they ever do, it would only be once.
So I think, Al, your comments of evaluate,
Yeah.
helps us to consider all
I
these
don't want to get specific, it's just we're studying it, we may decide that we don't want them, or we may decide we want a different side, yeah, Greg?
What if you said like evaluate pedestrian safety measures or something? Then you're not looking
It's
at
more
just
broad.
bump outs.
Yeah.
Just go broad for having.
Including bump outs.
And rather than
Including
not mention
bump
bump out?
I think we need to,
Including
I'm
bump
saying this from what I've heard from other groups in the community, and, you know, there's a big divide there. But the people that are really into the bump outs are very strongly into the bump outs. So I think if we use that word somewhere, regardless of how we classify it, I think it's important to use that word somewhere, that you'll get all the people that are interested in
Right,
it to
so
show
it's not
up.
lost.
I think your
Understood.
comment on safety and maintenance is in the IPF 4, in the description, and then the actions are evaluate bump outs.
Okay, I think we're making this harder than it needs to be.
so should we just change that to evaluate bump outs on the main street?
Evaluate the use of or evaluate bump outs, and so that just leaves it broad enough that, yeah, the city is gonna look at it, and they're not committing to the type of bump out or whether they even exist, they're just evaluating if they should be there.
So we don't need the through a joint cooperative effort, or do we have to get,
Yeah, I think,
MDT approval?
because
MDT would have to be
MDT is gonna have an opinion, like you said.
Yeah, well, look what they've already done for
Yes,
us.
right, so I think we ought to leave, I think we just changed the word from pursue to evaluate.
I'm okay with that.
Sue?
That's okay.
Okay, wow, moving on.
We did have a second comment on there. And it was to add a third objective, so it would be IPF 4C, to add stop signs to unmarked intersections in residential neighborhoods.
C would be identify and, say that again?
If we were to add C, Susan's comment was to add stop signs to unmarked intersections in residential neighborhoods.
Okay, but already under IPF 4, you've got a C. Identify uncontrolled intersections, so, okay, so you add C and then that one becomes D and E, right? Is that what we're doing?
IPF 4 right now only has A and B.
But our latest version has a C and D.
It has a C and D on the
Maybe we
latest version.
I think our comment page might be not the same as the
Right.
updated draft.
All right,
You have to look at both.
all right, so,
'Cause Cause I'm going off the master comment page.
I'm
That we
going
have.
off what you sent, the last, edition you sent.
Let me,
It looks
Should
like the
be.
latest edition
Monday
already
at
incorporated
10:13.
those changes.
Yeah, and I think the
You have
terminology
C
is
and D
fine.
on there, there's no.
Yes, I do.
Identify
Yeah, so do I.
uncontrolled.
All right, so Kevin, we all have, ICF 4, A, B, C, and D. And if you wanna add another one, it could go in there as, if you want it to be C or it could be E.
I think, yeah, I just pulled up the recent one that I sent and it's the master comment page, I think is just a little behind. So some of these
Okay.
might already be addressed and put in there.
Okay.
So I'll just keep going through the comments that we've made in the past. And if it's already been addressed, then we'll just move on, if that works.
Yep, well,
Okay,
we're following your lead here.
Except
Okay.
AL.
Got me
perfect.
there.
So
Now,
the-
hold it, we got a question. You have to-
Well, the problem
yeah.
with that, with just moving on, is we might miss that something that had been commented on is now in the comments or in the actual document,
Yeah,
and
Without
we haven't
discussion.
discussed it.
yeah.
So we don't want to just point blank accept what's been drafted lately. Probably better to, as a guide, to go by the comments that we're looking at now
Yeah.
and decide if they stay in or not, right?
Okay, what was the C you wanted to add, Kevin, about stop signs?
The C was to add stop signs to unmarked intersections in residential neighborhoods. For IPF 4.
And what we have is identify uncontrolled intersections and add additional traffic control measures such as stop signs. Because it could also be a yield sign, not necessarily a stop sign.
And I like what you have now rather than what you just said.
I do
Mhm.
too, because it's such as stop signs.
It could be
Yeah, not
anything,
a totally limiting list there.
right.
And
Yeah.
that is currently being discussed in the city level anyway.
You see what she's reading, Kevin?
Yep. Oh, yep. I got the same. I pulled up the most recent draft too, so there's gonna be some cross comparisons, but I think
And then,
I think we can be all right.
does everybody agree with C?
Yes.
Okay, moving to D, pursue and secure funding for complete streets.
What's the
Yeah.
definition of a complete street?
Well, we kind of touched on that last time, and that came from my comment, and
Yeah.
everybody, we already kind of said,
So you wanna scratch D?
well, it wasn't largely accepted when we discussed it last, so I would expect it wouldn't be in here, so.
It's like, to me, what's a complete street? Curb, gutter, the whole thing?
It's curb and gutter, yeah, and sidewalk.
gutter
And
street.
sidewalk.
The boulevards, building the boulevards, basically, that we don't have on any of our streets.
So if we put this in here, to me, it's something that we're never going to be able to do, at least not in the next 5 years.
We've,
I hate to set us up for failure.
we've already had this conversation, I thought we had already let that go. And you know, I, at that point, just said, is this something
It'd
that
still be nice, but
there would be, we would expect to see it in the CIP as stormwater projects move along, right?
yeah, that's a good place for it.
Yeah.
And there are alternatives to complete streets that are other than sidewalks. It's like, painted lines,
That's what I mean, it's the whole package, so
yeah.
we already had this discussion last time. We already
Well,
had
and
that.
years ago as well.
No, I mean, just
Mhm.
2 weeks
I
ago.
didn't think we'd go through.
Okay,
it.
is D in or out? Two,
Out.
Out, yeah.
So,
Don?
That's, yeah, out.
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 Well, out.
Okay, you got that? Oh, Jeff, I'm sorry.
Got that will be taken out. So then going
D?
back to the comment page, the next one that we had was for IPF 7.
Okay, wait a minute. Jeff,
Hang on.
Jeff has a question on what
Oh.
we just did.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
D was pursue and secure funding for complete streets. We discussed that earlier, and the poll says that's gone.
It's too far to reach right now.
Okay, so your next comment is in what now?
For IPF 7, just increase multimodal transportation. And the comment was actually to add an 8th one underneath IPF 8A, complete site walk going from highway, I'm guessing sidewalk. Going from Highway 212 roundabout to 2 Mile Bridge Road. Excuse me. So it'd be to add an eighth goal for the infrastructure section.
And complete the sidewalk on 78.
And what I had done on the draft was, instead of adding it as its own goal, I added it to IPF 7 as IPF 7C as more of
Got
an
it.
objective than a goal.
Susan, you all right with that?
Okay.
Now-
Down on 212.
I have a question. It says
Yeah.
complete the sidewalk from Highway 212 roundabout to 2 Mile Bridge Road.
Mhm.
Is that on the west side or the east side?
Well,
Since
cur-
the city
It has to
doesn't
be on the west.
own the east side,
It has to be on the west side.
and isn't that what the MDT is going to be doing?
That project's already done.
No, they're supposed to be, the roundabout, okay.
No, from 2 Mile down to, they have to finish the rest of it, hasn't been done.
From Highway,
Right, from,
from
Do
2 Mile
we care who
Bridge.
does it? All we
Whatchamacallit.
say is we like it done here.
So,
it may not be doable if easements aren't available. I mean,
no,
this is.
there's no easements necessary.
That's-
This is from the
That's
current,
been a long time goal.
Yeah.
To establish a multimodal path, basically from the roundabout all the way to 2 Mile Bridge.
Yeah.
correct.
Right.
And I think
I've
that's
seen that
still a
before.
valid
Mhm.
goal and objective to pursue, as long as MDT
OT.
is in the planning stage and for that section. What I've heard up to this point is they're talking about a sidewalk, basically an 8-foot sidewalk. That's not a multimodal
Yeah.
pathway, that's basically a pedestrian walkway. So I think we need to keep in the wording multimodal pathway as an objective to try to get MDTP to incorporate that into their design. That's been in our growth policy going way back.
So you would,
Yeah,
you would change the word sidewalk to multimodal.
Yes.
Good catch.
Teresa, you all right with that?
Yeah,
Sandy?
Would that also include sidewalk?
Yes.
yeah, you can walk on a
Yeah,
multimodal path.
that gives you a sidewalk, bike path, that gives you
Yeah.
more modes of transportation is all of
Yeah.
that wording means.
So
It would
having it,
It would be in place of a sidewalk.
Exactly, well, it'll be lined, I mean, that's
Yeah.
the difference is, it's gonna be lined for a bike
Yeah.
and then pedestrian walk.
Mhm.
So basically the path like by the golf.
Yeah, it's multimodal. It could be walk, bike.
Exactly.
so the advantage of having it in our growth policy is to present it to MDT and say, this is the growth policy that the citizens of the, and the city council of Red Lodge has endorsed, and we want you to do it.
It's our vision.
It's our
and we're
vision.
holding on to it, yes.
Okay, does anybody object to changing sidewalk to multimodal?
No.
Hearing none. Kevin, you all right?
I'm all right with that. And
All right,
then,
moving on.
so moving on, we had a comment on IPF 7B. And it was to add C point saying promote development of city parking lots or agreements offside of core business district or city entrances to encourage parking and walking or using sharrows and trails. And that one I did add as D to the IPF 7 in the newest draft.
So you added as D on ours, promote the development of city parking lots and agreements, et cetera, et cetera. That's D on our copy here.
Yep.
Teresa?
Well, that was my comment, so you
Okay,
already have
you're
my
good.
statement.
Sandy?
I think it's a pie in the sky. I don't think that there's actual land to develop city parking lots.
Or to identify or negotiate. I mean, you gotta look somewhere.
You have to remove a building in order to do this. So I don't see that it has a chance to do this. I think, again, it's a pie in the sky that's not doable. At least not in 5 years. Maybe one of the buildings will fall down. but then the city doesn't have the money to buy the land to build a city, parking lot. And agreements off the side of the core, I don't see this as doable. So, I mean, it'd be lovely.
So you would scratch D?
I would, simply because it's a 5-year plan, and that doesn't make sense to me in the next 5 years.
Multimodal pathways have been over 5 years in the growth policy, and it's still there.
Yeah. Marie, what are your thoughts on D?
I agree with Sandy, you know, there's no places, the city parking that we have as it is by the Civic Center is barely used. And, you know, I thought, I can't think of any spot where there's a place that, unless there's, and why would you tear down a building
To put
in
a parking lot.
Put in a parking lot.
Nobody's
Don't you
saying
want
to tear down a
wildflowers?
I
building.
got you.
Well, we're talking about the physical
All right.
makeup
I
of the
guess you
city.
can put it in there, but it's,
It's not gonna be done.
yeah.
Now I'm all confused, but it's, I agree for most of this, but where the parking lot thing is concerned, obviously, there aren't really a lot of possibilities where you can envision that. However, the Civic Center parking lot is one that, although it doesn't get widely used except for the RV parking, one of the reasons it doesn't get widely used is because it's in very bad repair.
Sure.
And one of the reasons, from what I understand, it's in very bad repair is because they just threw asphalt in over railroad tracks. So it could be very expensive to renovate and might not be feasible, but on the other hand, it might be. I think it's
So
worth
is D
exploring.
in or out with you?
I think it's something that should be investigated. And I think we have a bit of, there were so many people at that workshop that mentioned that. I mean, not in the hundreds, but probably at least in the tens or 15s, that I think maybe if we had our Public Works Director look at it, assess the history of it, that in that degree of pursuit, it would be worth leaving it in.
Do you want to leave it in, John?
Well, so having a business downtown
Yeah.
and living through it in the summer in this town, you've got parking lots being used all over town. Whether it's federal, whether it's county, whether it's state, whether it's the backside of Pizza Co., whether it's the Civic Center. Why don't we have the signage, why can't we put a sign up to actually push people to those parking lots?
Well, then I think people forget about the deals of long ago where the Red Lodge True Value, ACE,
Yep.
was, their agreement was it was supposed to be a public parking lot. Then you got the post office, you're right, you got the community foundation. I'm just going down the road here.
Exactly. I mean, it's
And then
already there.
you got Ray
So
Judd's
you're a D
place.
in or out?
I'm saying we need to identify what it is so that we can tell people what it is.
Right.
There's no signage that it's, public parking.
But to put
None of
asphalt
that.
and promote it.
Well, some of that isn't public parking.
Okay.
There is.
I'm trying to figure out where we are on this. So you would
Yeah,
reword
but I mean to point people to it.
I
rather
don't
than-
like-
Identify and promote.
That's what-
Nobody's saying take down a
For
building.
that.
Time
Nobody's
out.
No,
saying that.
Time out.
There's no spaces there.
So are you rewording this?
No, I won't reward that. I want to put a comment in about what we currently have and what we can do
Okay.
differently.
But otherwise, you would leave D in.
I would take it out.
You would take it out. All right, that's 3. Jeff?
Well, I think it's an issue that we need to address.
So you would replace, you were with John, you would replace D with different wording?
I think, yeah, I mean, we need to promote development of develop some sort of a strategy to deal with congestion downtown and provide mechanism to direct the public to available parking.
I like that.
Along those-
Haven't we tried to do that with
Yeah.
Civic?
I like that,
Yeah.
what he just said.
6:05 in the recording.
Oh, you made a note.
Kevin, did you get that, what Jeff just said?
6:05.
Hello.
Sorry, I was muted. I honestly couldn't really, I was kind of having trouble following
All right,
where
what
you're
I'm,
at.
what I'm hearing here is we're scratching the wording in D, and we're gonna replace it with what Jeff's gonna tell you right now.
Or more importantly, what he said 2 minutes ago
Yeah.
at 6:05.
As a recording.
What did I say?
I think you could address parking congestion and, you know,
John, do you have some wording you like?
identifying.
I'd be,
Yeah.
go back to
Redirect.
6:05, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like addressing the parking
So this is
congestion,
the-
but not
this
having
is the
the
objective,
city
right?
develop city
Yeah.
parking
Yes.
lots.
So the objective would be to address, congestion downtown during the,
Period.
by developing a strategy to direct the public to available parking spaces, either on or off Broadway.
Aren't there signs already up for the Civic Center? Like, wasn't that the plan
There
for
is.
the Civic
Yeah.
Center
We
parking
have a
lot?
But
wayfinding
they're at the
sign.
park, they're not
Did
on the
we
main
spend a
street.
lot of money on
So it's not
wayfinding?
pushing, right, that's all I'm saying.
Kevin, did you get the gist of what Jeff just said?
Did, yeah.
Huh?
I did get it, yep.
Okay, are we okay with that wording? Because we're gonna get another look at this, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You okay with that,
Yep.
Susan? Okay. So we replaced your current wording on D with
6:05 and
what Jeff just read. Okay?
All right. Got that down, so that completes the infrastructure portion, unless you guys have any other thoughts and want to add anything else. If
Okay.
not, we'll move on to natural resource goals.
We good, Susan?
Oh my God, page one.
All right, moving on.
All right. So we got the first comment, which should be addressed, natural and cultural resources, adding that. Yeah, that should be addressed in the new document. So at first it just said natural resource goals. Now it's natural and cultural resources. So that
Whoa.
should be addressed. Does anybody-
You've lost me out here.
Okay, so see.
I've got, after IPF 7, I've got us into Public Facilities Infrastructure Action Plan.
That, okay, so that's on the new draft. I'm going still off of the previous with the comments.
Yeah.
And
well,
so
I'm on
it
the-
was natural resource, so we can move it around, so.
Okay,
let's see.
let's do the, in the order that we have the document that you sent, I want to stay,
On that
it's
document.
confusing enough, I want to stay.
So I'm gonna have to jump ahead
So right
though.
now,
So
we're on IPF, 1D, action,
let's see.
and the actions create a source water protection plan to protect the city's water system, and whose responsibility it is.
Yeah, so that one came up after last meeting. If you recall, we had that discussion. And bear with me, once we changed the action plans and moved them up in the newest draft after that comment, these aren't meshing very well. So let me find, and they might,
Whoa,
15, page 15.
it's on, yeah, and I'm on the new draft, page 13.
New draft, page 14.
There you go.
Well,
Page
there we
15 of the
go.
old one. Yes.
So this is what we had for the old one, and we had one comment in here. Some of these extra ones, so the IPF 1D on the new draft was added per our conversation last meeting about the source water protection plan. I don't know if you guys recall that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. So then moving forward from what we had previously, the comment was for IPF 4B.
Yeah.
And it was from Jeff. You can see it here on the screen. To change it to work with MDT to provide a safe walking and bicycle path along highways 212 to 2 Mile Bridge. So kind of what we had just discussed.
I have no idea where we are.
Okay, mine reads, contact and work with MDT on the feasibility of adding bump out intersections of the downtown area. That's my IPF 4B.
So he's
Yep.
going there.
That is what we had. And then Jeff the comment that you added here, are you thinking adding like another action on here? Or was this to
Yeah.
replace the bump out one?
No, what I was getting at here was to, make sure, or as an action, that we engage with, Montana Department of Transportation on providing, basically a multimodal pathway from, along Highway 212 Mile Bridge. That's what we talked about that just a little while ago.
We just need to make the
Yep,
action.
so this would be a new added action to this
There'd
one.
be a new objective.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a new, action item.
New action item,
IPF 7C.
yes, IPF 7C.
Okay, so you're gonna add that, so now we go to what I have is 4B is contact and work with MDT on the feasibility of adding bump outs at intersections.
Yeah, so I know that we just kind of had that discussion. And would you be fine with that for the bump out conversation
No.
that we had? Because it's more looking at the feasibility on whether or not you'd want them. So that would be kind of
Again.
fall under, oh, go ahead.
I would use the word evaluate and work. Evaluate the feasibility of adding bump outs in intersections in downtown areas and working with MDT. That's consistent with what we did earlier.
All right, got that. All right, I guess I should say since there were no other comments, are we good with all of these?
Yeah.
Or do we still need to go through every single
I don't
one?
need, if you haven't had comments, unless somebody here has one that didn't send you, I'd just keep going. Any other ones in there?
No.
I just have a comment back on this, 4B, and I guess 4A and B now would be, in addition to conversations with MDT, I wonder if we also need to include, I don't know if it's Parks Board or the Beartooth Trails as part of that conversation, because that's all, I believe, part of the active transportation plan. So I guess it's I'm trying to think about including these other entities that have been involved in developing these other plans to make sure they're part of this conversation.
I understand.
And they're reinstituting the active transportation, committee within Beartooth Trails.
Is that what it is?
Mhm. A lot of the original members have been recruited, and then some of the people that have had interest in it since then are being included.
Is everybody okay with Jeff's suggestion of including, BRTA? Didn't they change their name?
Beartooth Trails.
Beartooth Trails. is the
Beartooth
name.
Trails and
Mhm.
Parks Board?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Beartooth Trails, and then they've got a subcommittee, right? That's,
Right.
But we should say Beartooth Trails and Parks Board in addition to
MDT.
MDT.
yeah.
You got that, Kevin?
That,
Huh?
got it.
Okay. So if there are no other comments on public facilities and infrastructure action plan, we move on to natural and cultural resources.
Yep, so
Hearing
we're
none.
gonna bear with me, gonna scroll back up for the comments. All right, so this is what
So
I was
now-
addressing earlier. Previously, we had it just as natural resource goals. But then Teresa had a comment to add natural and cultural resources. So that should be updated on the new ones, on the newest draft, if everybody's all right with that.
Yep.
And so it looks like then the next comment that we have is on natural resource goal number 4. And it was Teresa's comment said for goal 4 through 7, add a point saying coordinate risk mitigation regulations with county and other entities, especially where development is adjacent to the city. And that should be, I believe I did add that.
And where you're gonna add that in all 4 of those, or just one of them?
That's a good question. Teresa, what was your intent, do you think, for that?
Gosh, I'm so way back here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a couple months ago. It's just that, what was it, within the city only, but we're impacted by adjacent city or county development. So the point was that all of these, NR 4, 5, 6, and 7, it's really not just up to us, but up to adjacent development as well. So they should be included. The county should be included in some of these initiatives or the objectives.
Suggestion, Teresa, up under the natural and cultural resources, when it talks about that first sentence there, within the city,
Mm-hmm.
if you could add that there, that would encompass all of this, right?
Where are you looking at?
Under natural and cultural resources, the first sentence, it says preservation of present natural within the city. And you're saying we should expand it.
And adjacent, yes, county
Yeah, put
development.
it right there, and then it covers everything.
Yeah,
Well, I'd add state too.
Huh?
I would add state to that as well,
Yeah.
because of the
yeah.
noxious weeds
We're-
that we have at the roundabout and things like that. I mean,
We're impacted by other
Yeah.
externals, external.
So something like within the city, coordinating with
County
state,
and
county,
state, yeah,
and state
entities, yeah, county and
is
state.
vital too.
I'm understanding we want to add that to like kind of the little description that we have underneath.
Yeah. And then that
Okay.
covers everything here within
Yeah,
the
and then we don't
chart.
have to say it on each line item, yeah.
Okay.
But resources within the city, but I think the word coordination is important, because you're trying to coordinate with county,
Mhm.
state, and feds, you said?
you know, even feds,
County,
I mean,
state,
they'll be
federal,
fed too.
yeah,
Yep.
anything that
And
butts
then-
up to or impacts the city.
And then it's inserted between city and is.
Okay. Got that
Got it?
written down. Yep. So what you'll see on the new draft, I had interpreted it as that was gonna be a goal, so I'll delete that off of if you look under NR 8
Yep.
down at the bottom, I will strike that from there and insert it where you guys want.
Well,
Yep. So NR 8 goes away.
I did have a question on NR 3C.
Well, before I go there, we agree NR 8 goes away?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's stated elsewhere as well that we would be coordinating
Yeah.
with the county on some of these
So it
things,
goes away.
yeah.
Yep.
It's a larger statement.
Jeff?
Yeah, what's 8 again?
You're not sitting where you normally sit, so I forget.
Five.
Yeah. Okay, so scratch NR 8. Now go ahead, Kevin, what was your comment?
NR 3C, I was just trying to figure out what that means. Reduce the human impact on wildlife by implementing a policy to curtail wildlife fragmentation and creation of sinks. I don't know what creation of sinks are. And how do we curtail wildlife fragmentation? What do you mean the wildlife's fragmented?
So that was
So-
in our old policy, does anybody remember?
If we don't know it now, I don't care where it
What
was.
one is this one again, NR what?
NR 3C.
B? Reduce the human
What is the question is, what is wildlife fragmentation and what is a sink?
Creation of a sink.
I think what they mean with like wildlife fragmentation, what I get is like, you know, the deer coming into town or the turkeys here and there, but not in the wild, like in creation of sinks. I think that probably means where you bait them so they have their little area.
Create a density, right?
Kevin, where did you get that?
Just dump
That
them.
came out of the previous growth policy.
Really?
I think if I recall, in the wildlife consideration section of this too, it actually does detail what a sink is. But I did not put that in there on my own volition. I inserted that from the previous one, so I don't have a whole lot of information for you.
Our, Red Lodge growth policy?
Yeah, it's in there today.
Oh,
You know, since it's illegal for a house or a private person to bait the deer or the turkeys or whatever, I think that just adds some gray area where someone could go to that later.
what are you saying?
I think that it should be taken out because,
Taken out?
I don't think
I
that
don't
we
even know
know
what it means.
exactly what it means, so why would we put it in there? Yeah,
Well, we want to continue to reduce the human impact on wildlife, right? We have an
By-
ordinance that says you can't feed wildlife.
yeah, so
So
it's,
this supports our ordinance anyway,
right.
and into the future. is
But
all
I
I'm
don't know
thinking.
how we can implement a policy to curtail wildlife fragmentation and creation of sinks. So if we don't know what that means, I don't think it should be in there.
like, you don't want to bait the bear or the moose or I mean, we're not just talking about deer and turkeys here.
Yeah,
Turkeys are aggressive, by the way.
reduce the human impact on wildlife. I'm
But you
fine.
don't want to get used to
So are
them
you in or out?
being fed
I,
out.
yeah, I just wanna wipe out that by implementing a policy, blah, blah, blah.
We want to continue to reduce the human impact on wildlife.
I think that,
Done.
yeah, done,
So you want to say, reduce the human impact on wildlife, period,
yeah.
Yeah.
by implementing that, you take that out?
We want to keep doing what we're doing.
We don't
but,
know
yeah,
what that
Do you agree
is.
with that,
Yeah, period,
Andy?
yeah.
Jeff?
Yeah, I was just trying to, I know what fragmentation is, I'm not sure that applies to this already developed area that's basically fragmented.
To me, reduce the human
But the-
impact on wildlife covers a
But the
broad
idea-
range of stuff.
But the idea of sink gets to, and I'd like to see what the definition was in our previous growth policy, because I think that gets to
Yeah.
minimizing the
Have to have so much population.
things that attract wildlife to come into town.
Right,
I think, to me, that's what
Yeah.
would be,
I think that's called baiting.
yeah, it's
what's
important.
that?
Baiting,
Mm-hmm.
That's baiting wildlife.
baiting.
My grandma did it
Well,
all the
it's
time.
not just baiting, it's how you manage garbage and the whole thing that, what are the things that would create a sink, in my mind, are the things that would attract wildlife into town as to opposed to not.
I think for simplicity, we ought to just leave it at reduce human impact on wildlife.
And the action plan would be to
Yeah.
uphold or,
Regulate.
and, yeah, actually, enforce our ordinances that we already have.
Okay, I guess I'm hearing we're gonna scratch everything after wildlife on C, Kevin.
All right, everything, that's.
Anything else on NR?
Hold on, I'm still looking at it,
No?
trying to compare old and new.
No?
I keep going back to the top of
Okay,
13.
so natural resources action plan is next. And that's where you might put some of your comments.
On the previous comment version, we did have a comment for NR 6.
Oh, we did?
Yep, NR 6C,
Yeah.
that was add
Increase.
objective to continue existing setbacks from east and west bench escarpments. And another objective to avoid development on steep slopes, subject to mass wasting. And I believe that one did get added. Yep. So that should be
Yep.
on the new one, should be under E.
Yep,
So if everybody's fine with that, we could keep that in there. That was
So
Jeff's
far.
comment.
yep.
All right, perfect.
So now we're moving to Natural Resources Action Plan.
So skipping ahead here again, bear with me.
I'm trying to compare the two.
Right, so we had a comment on natural resource action plan number 1, that was for 1A. Said from Jeff, include floodplain management easements to accommodate and mitigate effects of flood events. And then he goes in to describe program with the Army Corps, which you guys could probably read on the screen.
In our 1A, what you read is not what I have in front of me.
That's not what I have either.
Me either.
What I read was Jeff's comment for that one.
Oh,
The actual action plan that I had was discuss the possibility of placing conservation easements on public lands to ensure that they stay as undeveloped assets for the residents.
and so, Jeff, you want to replace that or add one to it?
Mine wasn't added, it wasn't to replace it.
Okay. So Jeff's would become in our, what,
That,
1B?
so I'll have to go back and look. So what I'm doing here with the objectives or the actions is that they're matching certain objectives. So this top one that I just read would be for the objective 1A. So then we would just need to go back up and find the one for floodplain. It would probably would be under NR6. Because that's protecting the riparian corridors.
Yep.
So that would probably fall under there.
So it would be NR6, what?
Could be NR6,
Looks like BNR6.
NR6B probably.
D.
D, and then
D.
you have to add.
D, as in dog.
Use the dog.
Is that right? Yeah, NR6D, as in dog? I thought it would be NR6B when you talk about floodplains.
But the goal that Kevin's talking about, it refers back to, NR6, which is
But it would be,
protect
NR6,
steep slopes, riparian corridors from inappropriate development. So that, the action item that I'm talking about here goes back, so it would be
it would be NR6B, because that's where you talk about administer floodplain regulations.
But the action item is referring to stormwater.
Oh, is it? I thought it was floodplain.
No, stormwater mitigation.
Oh, my mistake.
NR6 the goal is protect steep slopes and riparian corridors. And then we have NR6B is continue to administer the floodplain regulations. And NR6C is increase the setback regulations from all streams and riparian areas. So I would probably think that it would fall under one of those, probably B,
That's what I thought.
because it could be incorporated into the floodplain regulations.
That's what I thought. Based on what Jeff read for his addition of NR6.
So I'm looking.
Jeff, are we doing this right?
I think so, yeah,
It's
Oh, yeah,
confusing,
C.
I know.
C or
We
C.
need to have beverages here.
Adult?
Mr. Mayor, we
Yeah.
don't get paid, the least we
Good
can
deal.
do is have alcohol.
Nobody knows what's inside
You
a
don't know.
container.
Can you
I love your
imagine
jacket.
that we will never get anything done?
I think I got it at your
You
floor.
did.
I think we get a lot done.
You think we'd get more
Slash
done?
all of it.
My
Yeah,
favorite
really.
chocolate with-
It's fun.
Okay,
I have some notes, but it doesn't say bring adult beverages. It says next week that the working draft and what's on the screen and what you guys have need to be the same document.
yeah.
I don't know where or how we got into two separate workflows, but it ain't working.
but he sent us this one.
I know, and so we'll fix that next time.
And we need
Yeah,
to
I've already
com- we
made
need
that
the
note too.
comments, so,
we
yeah.
come to it. All right, can we move on to resident participation?
We still have one more comment that was made by Jeff for NR 6A, the last action that we had in the chart. And
Yeah.
it was to add another action item that includes development of a flood management plan that addresses impacts of flooding from high intensity storm events and mitigation measures, and provides for the natural function of the floodplain riparian area. So that kind of probably similar would fall under one of the same,
I thought we
could
just
be
did that.
NR5.
No,
We,
just did it.
no, that they were, both of them were pretty similar, but they were both revolving the floodplain, but they were a little bit different.
So we have NR six A, B, and now C.
E. Oh, C and E.
So we have NR 6A is develop a stormwater mitigation plan
Right.
for construction. And then Jeff wanted to add another action item that addresses flooding in response to a stormwater event.
So that would be B,
That's B. Six B,
which is continue to administer the floodplain regulations,
yep.
blah, blah, blah. Or is it B and C?
But it's also meant by increasing the setback regulations, right? And from
So
the-
this one I would think might
Yeah,
need to fall under either an objective that we haven't created, because previously we had addressed the actual flooding and the floodplain from Rock Creek. This one is specific to stormwater, a rain event.
That's A.
And I think my read, my comment probably does fit more under floodplain management. The point I was trying to make here is that we need to think more in terms beyond just stormwater mitigation in terms of the stormwater system.
Yeah.
We need to think about events that basically go from managing the stormwater into a flooding event. So how do you mitigate?
See, here's what's happened right now. Right now, I am absolutely totally confused. Because we are in R six A, and now we've added two more or one more?
Well, I think A refers to the scarring on the
Yeah.
slopes. So
Am I
the,
missing something here?
so the action plan refers to that, even though it says the word stormwater, it's especially on the benches to ensure that there's not increased erosion. So I think that NR 6A does refer to NR 6A.
Yes.
So then if we want to get into the floodplain, we're gonna have to add NR 6B,
Yeah.
which is administering the floodplain, and C, which is increasing the setbacks from there. And actually, E is, again, we're back to the slopes. So 6A should be 6A and 6E. It's exactly the same. Correct?
Yeah.
What I'm showing is we have
A and E,
B and C, with B and C
belong
being
together.
the two new ones.
B and C would be the two new ones, referring to the floodplain.
Stormwater management. A.
Let's do this, Kevin.
Yeah.
Let's take the notes that you have and make the best out of it, and, because I think we're spinning wheels right now on this particular one until we see it written out.
And I think I understand some of the confusion here. So
Okay?
when you see, I'm gonna highlight it. So see the NR3 would be the goal. B, C, and D is the objective. And then this would be the action that meets all of those different objectives. I think that might be part of the confusion. So
And-
really, we need to be almost looking at both at the same time.
And what I'd like you to do is rewrite it, and then when we see it in writing as we go through the next phase of this, hopefully we can straighten it out.
All right, can do, got that written down. So we'll just
And
move
the other
on.
thing,
Oh.
I'll bring it up at the end, but somehow or another, we have to have the same documents in front of us, whether you have them and we have them, because right now, we're bouncing around different versions, and all of us have what you sent on Monday in front of us, and it's different than what you're showing on the screen.
Well, what I've got in front of me is what he's showing on the screen, because it had all the comments in it.
Yeah.
Right.
What he sent today or yesterday was a document that didn't have any of the comments on it.
Okay, but,
So I wanted to make sure the document I was looking at had all the comments on it, basically what he's showing.
did
on
he
the
resend
screen.
that to you? Because
What's that?
I don't know.
This was the one he sent
From-
2 weeks ago.
Oh, I've got
It
that.
summarized all the comments
Yeah,
that we've been going through, so I
You gotta look at both.
I have a problem because it looks like he's incorporated the comments into it, because I have the original one.
yeah.
For instance, resident participation, the next section, and then the one he sent us. We haven't gotten to this section yet they're not the same. So it looks like he's taken comments and incorporated it into the new draft without us discussing them.
And that's what we're supposed to be doing now.
Yeah, we're supposed to discuss the comments.
See,
I think
I
it's
checked this
changed.
new document against that old document to see if the comments were in there, and I saw most of them in there,
in the new document.
in the new document.
Yeah, but we need to
That-
know that they're comments, they're not accepted. I mean,
Yeah.
they're-
No, but I
They were
mean, he's going through
approved.
them now,
Right,
and
right.
that's what the discussion
But
point
you
is.
have to look at both of them in order to understand how did that appear there, or was it existing?
I can tell you what the original was, that we hadn't discussed yet, and then the one that was just sent to us is different, yet we hadn't discussed it.
Okay, time out.
You won't have this problem in 2 weeks. Figure out how to deal with it best for now.
What happens is, and the way I understood it was, he got the comment one, he incorporated those comments into this. We were starting back where we started today, and he was gonna go through and discuss each of those changes, so that at that point, you could see and discuss whether you agreed with the comment or not,
The change.
the change. So I didn't necessarily need both of them, because this document incorporated those, and as he's going through it, as we've gone for the last hour, he's saying, I made this change and this is it, and that was our point to agree or disagree. That's the way I'm seeing this,
I'm just looking at both.
huh?
I'm having to compare one to the other to see what the difference is between those
Well,
two.
see, I did that before the meeting.
I had
Yeah.
things to do.
Okay.
I didn't want to.
Kevin, are we
compare them.
totally confused now?
I think that was my misunderstanding the other day when you requested the newest draft. So what I'd been doing is on my own working draft, I had incorporated all the comments in. And then as we were gonna go through them, I was either gonna leave them and take them out if they weren't. So I think that's where, when you requested the second draft, I think that's where it got all screwed up. So I apologize for that.
So what we're gonna do next week is we're gonna all have a copy of your incorporated documents, and we'll also send us the latest copy with the comments annotated. So we'll have both documents.
I can get them marked, highlighted up, whatever
Yeah.
works best for you guys, just to show that was entered as, like, it was a comment.
What I'm hearing is from the members is they wanna see your PDF that has the incorporated documents, but they also wanna see the document of which you made those changes from.
We have those. We just don't know, on the new version, it's like, okay, so if you added something because it came up in a comment
Yeah.
somewhere, whether or not we've discussed it, we don't know if it was added or if it was existing. So could we get it, if you're gonna add it, could it just be in red text?
Yeah, highlight the ads in yellow.
Markup.
Yeah.
Could you do that?
And then
Oh, yeah,
use red,
definitely.
and then cross off the things that you've removed, so that we can see that there's additions and subtractions.
Does that make
Can
sense,
definitely
Kevin?
do that.
Yeah, we
Because-
have both.
frankly, looking at two documents at the same time, and I'm trying to do that on my laptop, it gets a little crazy.
Oh, I bet.
If I could have a document in front of me to Teresa's suggestion that highlights the changes,
It's, turn your tracking on in your Word document and it'll create it, and we'll be able to see everything with comments,
yeah,
adds and additions and
if you send
subtractions.
it in Word, yeah.
If you send it in Word.
And
Yeah,
if
if
you
it
have
was in
one.
Word, it'd be a lot easier to see the track.
Can you do that, Kevin? Send the next one in Word so that we can track it?
I can do that.
Yeah,
That would be better.
yeah, then we can,
Yeah, that's it. Because that's what I've done, is I convert this to Word and then yeah. Okay,
Right.
all right, let's keep going as long, we got another 35 or 40 minutes to go before,
So then I'm gonna skip back to resident participation, I believe was the next. Which we had one comment that was just to add and responding to,
yeah,
which has been made, and I'll mark that next time. So, and then CP1D, we had a comment from Jeff that said to add an objective to provide for virtual public attendance. That means by utilized improved technology. So an owl, an example would be an owl, if anybody knows what that is, or any other improved audio and visual capabilities.
and
So
that's,
you're talking about putting that, I had that on A, encourage the public to attend planning board meetings either in person or virtually.
This would probably be this would be a new one, mainly talking about the technology
yeah,
used.
It's all by itself.
so that would be what, F?
That would be E.
Well, you got an E in here now.
That's the one. Provide the citizens with virtual attendance option for meetings by improving the existing virtual technology.
Right. Let me ask you this, we had a lot of comments that came out of the citizen groups in those meetings. 90% of them were dead on, but there was about 10% of them that were kind of off the wall. Are you putting all comments in here regardless, or are we screening them?
Well, the comments from the Beartooth Forum were pretty much screened. I thought we had already ran through those, and all these comments
Yeah.
were made by the board. So this was Jeff's comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, because as I went through some of these citizen comments, okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, some of them are out there.
Anything else on resident participation?
I just didn't know if under, where now it says, gathering and responding to the input, I don't think anything actually,
Which one are you looking at?
well, under the word, the big header, resident participation,
oh,
gathering and responding, is the action plan to have the responding part of it? Or originally it just said gathering the input. So resident participation, gathering the input of city residents. But then we added and responding to, is responding to that in here somewhere?
well, gathering and responding, resident participation, residents aren't responding.
Well, that's what that's why I'm questioning
Yeah.
and responding. And the other thing is at the end, it says the city will work to ensure an ongoing public dialogue about the community's future. And I've added the word goals, future goals.
Yeah.
Does that sound really where we're going here? That not just about the future of the community, but the future goals?
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Everybody all right with adding goals? Okay, so
But
what about the word responding? Do you want to take it out, or do you want to change it?
I just don't know if it's part of this.
Well, resident participation, what do we expect from residents in their participation, right? their input, we would be gathering and responding, not the residents. The planning board of the city would be gathering and responding, but residents in their participation would be giving us input or feedback or coming to meetings and all that other stuff. So this is kind of,
And we're not
Backwards.
responding
right,
to that feedback.
Yeah,
So
that's what it
and
says in the-
responding,
Yeah.
right.
But how are we responding?
Do we even need that in there, just
Say
gathering?
again?
Can't we just cut and responding out? I mean,
Yeah, input of city residents.
That's what I'm
we're
thinking.
asking for,
I
yeah.
agree with Marie.
Yeah,
Gathering the input of city residents.
which is what it originally was.
Are we okay with that, Jeff?
Yep.
Sue? John?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yep, okay. All right. Anything else on resident participation, Kevin?
Does not look like it. That was the only two comments that we had, so we'll flip to the action plan, see if there's any comments there.
Okay.
We had a few, and there was, and I'm already noticed the carryover, so the new one, there's a difference. It says citizen participation, and then the other one says resident participation. I'll make sure that that matches. That's just a
yeah.
typo. It looks like the only comment that we had was on RP1C for the action. And it was a comment from Jeff to add an action item to improve the city's audio visual equipment. So kind of much what we already just discussed. So like an Owl Labs. That one it was kind of addressed already in the objectives, but I'm not sure if we need a more specific goal in there. So that would be kind of up for you guys to discuss. To be a totally new action item added to this list.
say it again, sorry.
That's all right. It would be to add a new action item to improve the city's audio visual equipment to provide better virtual participation by the public. So once again, that would be things such as an owl, or other similar technology.
And you've got that written in here as E.
Yeah, we did kind of have a similar comment for the objectives, and so this one would be a specific action. So we can either get rid of the objective and just add it as an action item, or vice versa.
So are we asking the city to buy new equipment is what we're doing?
Yep. It's obviously an action, not really an objective, because I think that the action of providing the citizens with a virtual attendance option is the same as encourage the public to attend planning board meetings type of thing. So one is an objective, and the other one is the action item. So I read E as the action.
Yeah, I do too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Whether,
Right.
I think, what we discussed earlier was the objective of basically improving the city's audio visual technology to enhance virtual public participation.
Right.
So that's sort of a general statement, but it's an objective.
So
The action item is to actually
provide,
implement or purchase
yeah.
suitable audio visual to actually invest in the technology to accomplish that objective. That's where I
Right.
see the differences. One is you improving the audio visual technology to improve public participation virtually. The action to accomplish that would be to actually purchase that technology.
So you could leave, you're saying leave E in as an objective, but say that the objective is to improve virtual attendance.
Improve
Citizen
virtual attendance.
John?
I like that.
I would say you've already got that in D though, and E is your action.
Yeah.
So D is here's our objective, and E is your action. It's just not in the right spots.
I think you're right.
So expand and improve the method.
Yeah,
So D is the same as what you have for E,
your E is gonna be your action item off of it.
off of, it should, so the action item should be number
Should be-
RP one D or CP.
Yeah.
it would
Yeah,
be
what-
R,
Well, if,
P, 1, E, right? And then
well, it would be D. The action item for D would be the description that you see in E.
Correct.
So E comes off of the objective and becomes the new action item for number
Okay.
D.
But D is about making sure notices are available. E is about attendance. So if you can combine the two of those things, you could combine D and E.
Well, you have attendance in A as well. And by the way, it says encourage the public to attend planning board meetings. How about encouraging them to also attend all city meetings? As much as we appreciate you attending a planning board meeting, I think that maybe we should be a little broader in this, maybe city council meetings, committee meetings.
I see D and E as different.
Yeah, they are.
Huh?
I'm lost.
You're
D
lost?
D is
I don't
about,
know if we're talking
D is about
objectives or
notices.
action items, I mean.
We're back
are
and forth,
these-
but let's go to the citizen participation goals and objectives. Under the participation goals is outreach public. The objective D is to expand methods to outreach the public to using the city's latest technology to get them here. That's the way I read that.
to issue notices.
Yeah, that's the way I read that, so that's that one. Then the next one is provide the citizens with virtual attendance options, meeting by improving the existing technology. Again, one is communication outwards to it, and the other one is having technology that they can lock into.
It drives up attendance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So to me, they're slightly different.
yeah, they are.
But wouldn't the E be the same as encourage the public to attend planning board meetings? Isn't that the same, with the virtual, so attendance is both A and E.
Yeah.
And so it's attend, whether virtually or in person.
So maybe A is encourage and improve public attendance,
Methods.
methods.
Encourage public to attend city
Meetings.
meetings. No, that's not right. City council and committee meetings.
Public meetings?
Encourage public to attend public, I don't like that.
Encourage
residents to
citizens.
attend public meetings.
Yeah,
How about
I
encourage
like
the
that better.
citizens
I
to
like that.
attend?
Encourage citizens or encourage residents? Encourage residents to attend public meetings.
There's another element that I've kind of written down that comes up, we touched on it last time, that these are high-level guidance and directions, and it ties back to this being a vision doc.
Yeah.
And so to me, one of the actions is occasionally reevaluate technology options to see if recent updates have created better options, as opposed to go buy an X.
Okay, trying to stay focused here. On A, encourage residents to attend noticed city public meetings.
We want to raise the level of citizen participation in public meetings.
Oh, whatever, that's fine
Right.
too.
I mean, it's just very general, right?
Encourage, yeah,
It's objective.
we're saying the same thing, just different. Kevin, you getting all this? He's left us.
Making a sandwich.
Yeah,
He's
go
got the
watch
adult
it.
beverage.
Yeah,
He's pulling
Hi,
his
guys.
hair.
What are we doing right now?
He's pulling
No,
his hair
I'm
out.
here.
beverages for the audience?
This virtual's not working.
So I have for A, encourage citizens to attend public meetings.
Kevin, are you on mute, sir, and we're just not hearing you?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. now we can.
There are a lot of people asking questions and nothing coming out of the box.
I've been speaking. I did get all that you guys were discussing.
Okay, so what's the wording on A, Teresa?
Oh, my gosh.
I have encourage citizens to attend public meetings.
Fine. No changes on B. No changes on C. D is expand the methods of resident, should we say citizen outreach or resident outreach? Resident outreach, using the latest technology and multiple media platforms to ensure there are no gaps in notices within the citizenry. I mean, that's wordy, but it says what it needs to say.
Yeah, include notices as well as attendance, right? So
Yeah.
expand and
Yeah.
improve
I mean,
methods for outreach.
It says what it needs to
Yeah.
say. And then E is provide the citizens with virtual attendance options for meetings by improving the existing technology. So that wording is fine with me. So now we go over to the action plan. And so the action plan for D is what? For CP 1, got CP here and RP over here, okay.
And one's resident participation
Yeah,
and the other
okay,
one's citizen.
So
So
Our-
RP1AD, we have the action being review the current methods of
Yeah.
public notifications and research the feasibility of a listserv or mobile notification center.
and then C, we have review current regulations to ensure the public participation
Right.
process is thoroughly detailed and make amendments as needed, okay. So
And that
D-
one will come into play if the city ever decides to adopt Senate Bill 382. Which I'm not sure, that's a whole other thing. We don't even need to get into it, but
Oh, no. Okay, so I guess I'm okay with RP1C. So do we need to have an RP1D or E?
Put A and D together.
With the RP1D would refer back, would be what I'm suggested here is to, the city will explore opportunities to improve the audiovisual technology.
So do you want that written in there?
What's that?
You want RP1D to,
One D would refer back to the objective you just stated
yeah,
previously.
right. But do we need to state it?
But, well, I think as an action item, the action item would be for the city to explore appropriate technologies to improve, or purchase appropriate technologies that will improve virtual participation. Audiovisual technologies that would
Okay.
improve.
I just say cities to explore, technology to improve participation. I mean, that says it, right?
Virtual participation.
Well, they could, it's not only virtual, but can they do it by conference call or no? No, it's all virtual.
I would say that's part of virtual.
Okay,
It's just different technology.
okay, so
That-
use the word virtual
Virtual.
participation,
Yeah.
okay?
We evaluate technology to see if updates have created better options.
Yeah, okay. So you got RP1D, Kevin?
I got that written down.
Okay,
And it
what
will-
about RP1E? Do we need to put something in there?
Isn't that what we just discussed?
Well, we did D, so is it D and E are the
And
same?
E, yeah, A, D, and E could be together.
So do we do RP1, D and E is the same?
Notification.
I mean, in some of them you said, like, you combine them up for A and D and all that, so.
Yeah, just say public notification and virtual attendance, right? And it's one thing.
Huh?
It's lost.
It's crazy. I mean,
AD&E.
we gotta come up with a better,
Jumping back and forth,
yeah.
I don't know if we're under goals, objectives.
Right now, we're on action
We're on
plan.
action.
So what I heard say, we were gonna have an objective that would improve the technology for virtual participation.
Right,
That's number E.
That would be the objective.
yeah.
The action item would then, and I think it's E,
Mhm.
would be to basically for the city to explore appropriate technologies that,
Yeah,
To improve virtual participation.
Yeah,
okay, and the only thing that's confusing is that we have the same action plan for both D and E.
No, D is slightly different.
D is a dog.
right.
Yeah,
You just
D
have-
is slightly
You could either
different.
modify the description of it to include E, or add E separately. That's it.
See, the problem is A is to increase attendance, okay?
Yeah.
And so I think the A and the E would be better put together, but we have it right now as A and D. D is about the notification of these meetings.
Right,
So RP, what we have as A and D should just be D, because that's review the current methods of public notifications and research the feasibility of a listserv, or, and you probably could, yeah, but a notification. So D is strictly notification methods. Both A is participation and E is virtual participation. So I think that when we're looking at these action plans, we should have a B and then a D, as in dog. The C is fine, and then an A and E, which is participation and virtual. Does that make sense?
yes, but the action plan is essentially the same. You're trying to improve the technology to do that.
Well, one is to explore audiovisual technologies to improve virtual participation. The other is to methods of public notification. That's to notify them that there's a meeting.
Okay. So you could say that the city could explore technology to improve notification as well as virtual participation, and you got it covered.
Right.
I think they're two separate things. One is the notification piece.
Right. You could have two separate actions.
That's a different process.
Yep.
To inform the public that there's a meeting.
They're different technologies,
Are they?
And there's different technologies associated with that.
correct.
The other piece is the participation
Okay.
piece, to actually participate in the meeting, either virtually or in person. And what I'm trying to get at, we need to improve the technology
Okay.
to
I got
provide
it.
for better.
So one's gonna say, the city explore technology to improve virtual participation in meetings, and another one's city technology to improve,
Virtual.
notification of said meetings, period.
Whatever you said. I'll
You
vote
got it.
for
It only took us 30 minutes.
Well,
Okay,
that's
Kevin,
probably
you
a
there?
record for us.
I'm still here.
You see what we did here?
Yep, I'm getting it all.
One action plan is to improve virtual participation in public meetings, and the other action plan is to improve technology to notify citizens of said meetings.
All right, got that written down.
Are we okay now?
Yep,
Why is it so hard?
Right.
it just has to be.
Okay,
Okay,
Moving on.
so bear with me, we are, because of the change in the current draft versus the old draft, I don't believe we addressed some of the other action plans. So we kind of need to we're gonna go a little bit back again, so,
okay, we're gonna go back to what I have as page 14, natural and cultural resources action plan.
so when the original comments were made, it went all of the objectives and then all the action plans. But after there was a comment made to move the action plans up in the document, they're a little bit different now. So we need to go back to page 13 of the previous one, which would be, let's see, page 7 of the current document to go over the goals for, or the action items for the economy section.
I don't think I printed this out.
Page what?
Page 7.
Seven.
Would this be better to quit while we're ahead and have them reconfigure all this? I mean, this is just
I'm kind of heading,
ridiculous. I think
all we're
this is a
doing is
waste-
spinning wheels.
wasting our time, and
Yeah,
he's not even here. I think he needs to be here.
I agree.
So we can torture him.
Those are my two things. You know, it's just, this is getting too confusing. Plus, now we're back to page 7. Oh my God, I thought we were making progress.
Well, here's the problem. He's not available for our next meeting. Is that right, Kevin?
That is right. Yeah, I have to be in Forsyth and Colstrip on that day to do the same thing that we're doing here.
Based on what's going on here tonight, how can we do this without him?
It is difficult.
Huh?
It's difficult.
We need a planning director.
Well,
Locally.
We
So,
go
I
with
mean,
what
that-
we got.
Can we do this with the mayor? Can we just do, I mean, he knows what's going on. Sorry to throw you under the bus.
But the bus was moving along.
so I mean, can we do this next meeting without Kevin?
Can we make progress with you?
Are you here next time?
You look scared.
You,
I don't
you doing this?
The only way we could do this without Kevin is having a clear document
That we're all
in
using.
Word that says, okay, here's the original, and here are the
Proposed
ads
changes.
or whatever in these places.
And I think we've got that. I still want so I'm not a planner is my concern. And part of this, we're not doing this because he's a great note taker. No offense, that's not what I mean. That came out wrong. We're doing this because of his planning expertise.
Yeah.
So if we have an alternate planning expertise, to me, that's a better fit if we can do that. But we're back to, we've got to have everybody having the same document. There's 2 workflow documents. I don't have a time machine about how that created, but it doesn't work.
But to me, based on the last several meetings where I'm actually shuffling 3 different versions of this, my comments, the collective comments, and the final one, and it's gotten,
And
Great.
one document with comments and markups allows that to all exist in one
Yeah.
place, and
So-
everybody's got it.
if Kevin would make the changes that we've made.
And it doesn't, you can make a PDF of that.
I don't want a PDF,
Okay.
because PDF, I can't get the comments in the PDF.
You can if it's done correctly, that's what
Well,
I'm saying, it can have
I
all of that.
can't,
Okay.
okay? But if I have a Word document, we can get them.
I think that's definitely feasible. We can get all the comments over to this newer one, and I could even mark it either highlighting, track changes, anything to show that what's been added already that we've passed. And then there's a lot less comments in the meat of the document. So I think once we get past the goals, objectives, and actions, I think it's gonna be much easier. I think this is the most confusing part.
Almost through the hard part. We
Yeah.
really are.
Yep, we're getting there.
But
But
my
I
question is,
think if Greg and I get together, we could probably figure out a way to get it all changed over. So when I'm not here next week or in 2 weeks, it should be able to not stop the wheels from turning.
well, for example, you and I talked about that today. I got the PDF document, and I could not figure out how to pull up the comments and the changes. This is it.
A PDF is a picture, you can't change it unless it's there to start with.
I know, but I mean, I wanted to see where the changes were and the comments, but if I have it in Word,
The other
then I
issue
see
is
that.
the other issue is that you also have some action next time too, so it's not the whole meeting's gonna be on this either.
I know, but we're gonna probably be able to pull a good hour plus on it. I don't think the sign thing is gonna take that long. I don't. I could be wrong, I've been wrong before. Okay,
You sign it.
everybody's kind of fried right now, Kevin. I can just look at their eyeballs and they're just rolling back in their head.
Oh, yeah, totally understand. I'm gonna give probably Greg a call either tomorrow or Friday, and we can talk about what we need to do to get it all squared away, so it would be a lot easier next time.
Yeah,
But we'll appreciate it more having had this experience.
That's a great way to look at it, Mayor Westwood.
why do I have a headache?
I know why.
You're self-sufficient.
Okay, so we're clear, you and Greg are gonna get us a singular document that's up to date, that's gonna annotate the changes and where the changes occurred.
And include all the comments that have been passed in.
Well, changes, comments.
Changes and comments are different things.
Okay?
That sounds like a plan.
And that'll be in a Word
And
document.
it'll be in a Word
Yeah.
document,
Word document, yep.
Greg?
Good.
We already had this all worked out long before it came up, so.
And your test case, if I can understand it, they all can.
Send it to you.
Well,
I'm the,
You are not
huh?
you're not the dummy.
Yeah, well, I feel like it sometimes. Okay, I think we're done with drug policy for tonight, 'cause
Oh, my God,
my
yes.
eyeballs are going back in my head.
Well,
Thanks,
thank you.
Kevin.
Thank you all so much. I appreciate it for putting up with me.
Yeah,
All right, bye.
I hope you get fast and
Oh,
right.
he's leaving us again. Okay, I won't off.
End it.
I mean,
Shoot it.
Shoot it.
why is it so damn hard? I think the reason it's so damn hard is that we're all kind of looking at different stuff.
We didn't have one document just to look at.
I thought this
You need a
was,
PDF?
when I,
Do you want a PDF?
when I went through this document that he sent me
You'll still
compared
have the
to
same
what
stuff.
I
You
sent
just
him
want-
and what Jeff sent
What it
him,
doesn't
a lot of
allow you
those
to do
changes
is
were in
read
there.
in Word.
Well, that's what I'm
You can
looking at.
manipulate it.
But they shouldn't be
You'll have
in
it
there
visually.
until we
Yeah,
discuss
The
them.
comments,
And to your point,
Yeah.
I felt like as he went through it, line by line, he would say,
Right,
okay, here's the change I made from whom, and that's when we would.
But I
discuss
got
But
afraid
that's
that
not
we
the
were,
way it
we were
works.
skipping over those things.
it. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
And I thought, whoa.
I don't
Yeah.
think we were.
It's like, wait,
and that's,
But it might not
and if they
show
were
up
called
with
out
comments.
and markup was
One
filled out.
conversation,
No,
and
that's
I
the
say,
only thing
yeah,
I'm concerned
And
about.
the technology can work with us rather than against us if we use
yeah,
it right.
yeah.
I doubt
Okay.
it should
We should
follow.
evaluate the cases and make sure we.
Yeah.
I guess what I was looking for
I
was
think I lost in my queue.
Well,
basically an updated Word document from what
Yeah.
we had last time. So the last time we had
I can do this
a
on my
Word
phone.
document that had all the comments off on the side.
Right.
Yeah,
And I was, for this meeting, I was looking for another Word document that basically incorporated all the, whatever comments
Yeah.
came in out between the last meeting and this
see,
meeting.
the Word document I had Teresa's earlier comments on it, Jeff's comments up to date, my comments up to date, and I could go right down and see where they went.
Yeah, all our comments were in
Yeah.
there. That's the one I'm looking at. But when we got the new one, the one that we just got
Yeah.
on Monday, I was thinking, okay, well, anything we've discussed is updated only.
Only.
Not stuff from comments that we haven't
But-
even talked about.
But that was in there, but,
Exactly.
That's
But-
what I
but-
assumed as well.
but, again, I felt we would discuss them as we came to them.
But
But
my
we didn't
fear
know
is
that we
could
came to
skip
them.
over those.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Here we are.
Well, in any
Yeah.
case, next
Here
week,
we are.
at least we can pump through it a bit more efficient, done,
time out.
waste of time.
Okay. Greg? Do you have any staff communications?
What's going on, Greg?
Sign permit, design review next week
Okay.
for 2 weeks. That's it.
Who is it?
Need
And,
lumber, illuminated sign.
and you're getting information from Greg?
Need lumber.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the,
Name change,
The name
Rocky Mountain,
Oh,
It's
to
me.
what? Me?
yeah.
Need.
Huh, I didn't see that. Well, there's no
Anyway,
comment.
I don't see that one lasting an hour, but it might, who knows? And then, so we'll have at least an hour on growth policy. Okay.
Marie,
Huh?
Marie's
I just
making
was like,
comments.
fun.
What?
Yeah.
What is it?
Am I taking the borrowed version, how am I gonna do that too?
Okay,
What was the, what's the sign? I missed that.
Need lumber.
Mead Lumber is
Lumberyard.
doing a
Me
sign,
with an E?
and I'm not sure, is it in the window?
It's up above the building.
above the building.
It's a,
Mead
It's not
Lumber.
the store
changed the
to
name.
oh.
the north of
Yeah,
town,
but
they're
the lumber
changing
yard.
their name.
So Rock Creek Lumber is now.
Rock Creek
They
Lumber,
did
but it was
in the
actually
summer.
something else, Rock
Yeah.
Creek
Okay.
Lumber and some
Anything
home
else,
center.
Rick?
Nope, that's all.
Petitions from the audience?
You sure?
Are you coming back? Are you bringing popcorn?
Where's Jim when you need him?
Okay,
Yeah. It's popcorn.
Any other business?
I don't have any.
I appreciate your patience, I really do. I mean, it's a long day for me. I was up at 4 this morning, so I'm ready for a double.
Long day, huh? A double what? Whammy?
A double anything, double bed.
Okay. Hearing no other business, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks for the opportunity, Al.
For the
it was never this
opportunity.
hard before.
Is that what you're gonna call this?